small grid at Monza then. Let's have a quick run through. So NextLevel got pole position, great qualifying for the number 25 Toyota Super Driver. Alongside him, looking for a good launch down into T1, Sweaty Keg in the Dead Bull Aston Martin. P3 aiming for good slipstream suck action down into turn 1 is the Cheese Whiz number 27 Chevrolet, driven by James Harben. Behind him, and also looking for prime slipstream action is myself in the War Motorsport Nissan entry. TC Idol, another independent Peugeot entry this time. He's going to be looking for a good launch and getaway today, my championship rival. Ice Chand, first of the McLaren's number 99, joined alongside by his teammate the number 33 Surfer F. So these two McLarens will be teaming up on everyone else. The other Aston Martin, the Toro Morto Aston Martin entry, driven by Dave Robinson Infinity Decals. He starts pretty much at the back of the grid. We have Marshall in the Subaru though. He will be the last one to get going. Let's see what Monza holds in store for us. Here we go then, live from Monza. Round 5 GT3s, not too many cars as you've seen from the grid. We only had 9 this week because of people on holiday and stuff. But the lights are about to go out. Everyone gets away well apart from me in the Nissan. I bogged down. I'm going to be behind the Peugeot TC Idol. Nev gets a poor start as well. He's jumped by James Harben and Sweaty Keg. These two are now going to duke it out for the lead. Any turn 1 incidents at Monza, the front two look like they're going to be okay. Get a little bit congested, a little bit further back. Just managed to hold it round the outside of Chand, and everyone, Marshall gets a bit of a swapper on, but gets hold of it nicely. But he's going to be down at the back now with a little bit of work to do in the Subaru, car that we know is going to struggle with the power demographics of Monza. I mean, well, then the Dead Bull starting to leap away a little bit now. The controlling factor in this race was the fuel. The tyres were fine, quite a low deck circuit Monza, so no issues with tyres at all. You can easily stretch them a stint, not a problem at all. The issue, like I say, was always going to be with the fuel, so having to save fuel pretty much throughout your entire stint. Little bit of a nudge off here. This is just me getting it wrong when I was battling with TC Idol, so a nice little battle actually kicked off here where I just got alongside TC Idol after the second chicane. He gets a bit of a slow exit, gets a little bit of a wiggle on there. I get a better exit, but he takes me around the outside. We do go side by side here, so great racing between me and Darren. We continue side by side into the second Lesmo. And I just turn in a tad too early, just clip his back end and it sends me off. That's going to put Ice Chand up ahead as well. So I've gone from P4 to P6 in the opening lap. Not a great opening lap for me. Meanwhile, the top 3 starting to break away already. So Sweaty Keg, James Harben, and Lev starting to break away a little bit. TC Idol leading this second pack almost, followed by Ice Chand in the McLaren, myself in the Nissan, Surfer, Marshall, and then Infinity Decals, who's just still getting used to the wheels, so he's going off-road. So a lot of slipstream then, these two going side by side, TC Idol and Ice Chand. Chand just goes a little bit deep there into the Parabolica, and he's just going to get sideways. Right in the path of TC Idol, unfortunately. He waits up for him. I think TC felt he was responsible for that. Of course, it wasn't. It was just the marbles on Parabolica just getting people a little bit wrong. But that's given me a little bit of breathing room now. I can start focusing on the guys ahead. The problem now is, though, I've a touch poor first lap. I'm now out of touch with these guys already. So the top 3, well and truly now, breaking away from everybody else. So James Harben, Sweaty Keg, James Harben now leading the way. He will have slipstreamed the Dead Bull down the main straight. The Corvette, which was showing its hand to be an excellent car around here. The Corvette and the Subaru, the Supra, were excellent cars around here. Sweaty Keg, probably a bit more of a thirsty boy, that big lumpy V12 in the front of that car, but it does navigate the power circuits quite nicely. And he's just having to turn that car in a little bit earlier there than James Harben with the V8. He's just having to get that front end rotation working a little bit more for him. So the top three well and truly breaking away. A few seconds gap then back to myself in the Nissan. I've got a few seconds gap back to Surfer Ev, who's having a nice little battle with Marshall in the Subaru, who's upped himself a couple of places. He was playing dead last this time, last lap, but now he is up to P6. TC idle then after that, after waiting up with Ice Chan. Sorry, he didn't actually do anything wrong, but he waited up anyway. He's up into P7 now. Infinity Decals, can he get this one right this time? He can. He's getting used to the wheel. He did race on pad before, but the pad to wheel transition, most of us have done that. Most of us can have some sympathy with the part of the process he's currently in. I'm sure we'll see him at his best again very soon. Meanwhile, at the top, the Slipstream battle has reached another peak with the Dead Bull. Dave Lewis just slipping it down the inside into the first chicane. You see Nev go a bit deep there. That's just not accounting for the Slipstream. He won't have had it for a few laps, but he'll have been getting it then. Your normal braking points do not count when you're in Slipstream. You have to account for the aero loss essentially into the braking zone. At about 10 metres on, you're normally okay. Myself and the Nissan now, I'm just into a period of fuel saving. So very early short shifts, a little bit lifting and coasting. Just trying to extend my first stint as much as possible to give me a chance later in the race. I wasn't sure it was going to work out. The testing that I was doing midweek wasn't really giving me the results I was hoping for. So again, it's just trying to do something a little bit different with my strategy to bring myself some luck. But P4 at the minute, so that's where I qualified, so quite happy. I started to break away from this pack, then Marshall's got up into P5, got past Surfer Ev somewhere. Nice little battle for me actually, because TC Idle and Ice Chandler started to catch up to these guys. So yeah, these guys were in the 150s last time out, Marshall and Surfer Ev. 149 for TC Idle last time out, so he's actually starting to get a grip of that Peugeot. An important thing to note, these guys all at the back were all starting on the medium compound tyre, so they purposely started on the slower tyre. Everyone at the top, other than Mental Nev, all started on the soft just to get, I mean I did that on purpose just to get that initial breakaway. Felt you needed to break the toe here, so I wanted to try and get away nicely. Last of the runners, P9 at the minute for Infinity Decals, so he's guaranteed a top 10 finish at least, so silver linings and all that. And a 150.3 last time out. His lap one was just that poor though. 150.3, he just done a 150.0, so he's getting his consistency nailed in there. Ice Chan 149.9 for a Chan last time around, TC 49.0 last time out, Surfer 51.1, Marshall 50.0, 48.2 best time for me, 48.1 best time for Nev, and these guys with the Slipstream they're doing are in the 47s very early on, and they are fuel saving as well, so very impressive times from the top two so far. I'm going to take you for a lap of the Monza circuit just to introduce you then and get you familiar with the corners and from a driver's eye perspective. So you start the lap hopefully with a good exit from the curve of Parabolica onto the start finish straight. Depending on where you are here in terms of Slipstream, you do want to be getting close behind other cars, but I just want to be eyeing up your braking zone almost constantly into the Retifilio. So down into braking about 150 metres, taking as much curb on the entry as you can get away with. Just being careful on the exit not to run too much of the inside curve, because that can upset the balance of the car. It means when you're putting the power down, it all goes a bit wrong. Through Curva Grande, flat in these cars then. Just automatic positioning into the Retifilio chicane, so you want to be over to the right, braking just before the 100 metre board, down into second again, take as much of the curve as track limits allow. That's where the Nissan suffered, it just struggled to get the power down into the first of the Lesmos, turn 6, then braking about 50 metres, roll the car through again, turn 7, 50 metres, just roll the car in. Just be careful of the exit here, because that gravel is a sucky boy. Down under the old banking then, a really classical part of the Monza circuit, then down into Ascari, turns 8, 9 and 10. And this is where the balance shift of the car really comes into its own. So take a lot of the curb on the inside, be careful to run this curb here, and then get a good exit onto the back straight and down towards the parabolic and start another lap. I get that a little bit wrong and it just throws me wide there, you see. And again, braking into parabolic at roughly 100 metres, depends on your tyre wear, and you want to be looking for that inside apex. Just clip the inside apex and run the car out wide. Applying the power just as you get to the marshal's post on the right hand side, and through to finish your lap. Very appropriate time in the video I feel to mention, you will notice some additional decals on most, if not all, of the cars that are running this week. Of course, if you watched the Laguna Seca video, you'll have seen the interview with Darren and the discussion we had around his friend Philip and how he lost his sister quite suddenly. Everyone is running special decals, liveries on the car. I know TCR does running this livery now, his trick to go in the pits then. Yeah, he's running that livery now for, I think, for the rest of the season. He said most drivers, I think pretty much all of them, are running special little decals on there just to pay respects, pay homage, just let Phil and his family know that we are thinking about him. We may not physically be present or constantly be in his inbox all the time, but him and his family is always in our thoughts, and if there's anything that those guys need, they only need to shout up. So a special credit to Infinity Decals, of course, not only the head sponsor of the league, he also drives in the league. He's the chap who puts all the decals together, designs most of the things we all run, and it's actually his son that designs my car. So a special shout out as well to 8-year-old Logan Luke, who designed this car. So again, a shout out for a GT3 car, very pretty design it is too. Nice sort of chrome effect on the top and a matte on the bottom. I'm really growing fond of this car. I think I will keep this livery even when this season's over. So again, a big shout out to 8-year-old Logan Luke, who's designed this himself. So a very aspiring talent in the livery world. I hope you agree. Okay, cracking on with the racing then. So at the top it's swapperoo for these boys. They're just swapping around every now and again, and to be fair, that's a great tactic from them. Consistent mid 47s for both of them as well, so it's not costing them any time. But all they've really been doing is swapping around on the main straight, carrying on for a lap and then swapping around again. Doing it that way means they're not fighting during the lap, they're pulling a gap to Mental Nev, who is the honest threat here. He's doing 47s without any slipstream, so he's really cracking on the pace. On mediums, I will add. So the Castrol number 25 car really cracking on with the pace now. He's definitely got those mediums into a working window. Myself, 48 ones, the Nissan just didn't ever really, just watch it over these curbs, it just really struggled to carry the power through those turns. Okay, in a straight line, just had to fuel save an awful lot. It just didn't really gel this time around for me. But there we go. You do have some weeks where it doesn't really fit. The lemon and lime McLarens then. So Chand is running P5. Surfer Ev running P7. You just saw there, just about getting some pressure from the Peugeot TCR. So these two McLarens, not necessarily the best circuit for them. These are very much handling cars. This is very much a power circuit, although the Peugeot not a power car either, so quite nicely matched. The Subaru, again, more of a handling car than a power car, so I see this battle lingering on, to be brutally honest with you, as we just saw Surfer F, I think it was, yeah, getting rid of a penalty at the back. Infinity Decals, like I say, he's in a good car, but he's also struggling with a wheel, and it's the first time really he's used it, so we can't really be hard on him at all, to be fair. No swapperoo this time round, but a new fastest lap for James Harbin, 47.0 in the Cheese Whiz number 27 car. Absolutely crushing it this time round. James Harbin having a really good race so far. The GT3 version of that car really does work. So for some reason here my microphone disconnected, but all I was saying, GT3 car Corvette kicks ass. It's really good. but the GT4 one did seem to have its struggles, so very similar to Nissan in that way. Anyway, that's it, on with the video. Mental Nav then, we're 15 minutes nearly into the race. I don't really know what strategies people are running. Mental Nav's running mediums though, so he might be wanting to go quite long into his first stint. I can't think of any other reason why he'd put mediums on at the start, unless he just wanted to get rid of them. If you're doing that, surely he'd have done that by now, but I'm not, who knows. Myself, strategy at the minute is softs for 20 minutes. That meant a lot of fuel saving to get that amount of time out of it. I think it was 11 or 12 laps I needed to do. The more I could extend stint 1, the better it would be at the end, in terms of I'd be lighter and I'd have better tyres, but again, the Nissan just wasn't clicking at all. Not really sure what these boys were doing. They were all running mediums. We've seen that TC Idle's been in already. He's now on softs, I think. So TC Idle just actually getting those tyres up to temp. They go through a weird heat cycle at Monza, and they don't actually tend to feel like they're warming up for about a lap and a half, really. It's quite odd. So the swapperoo has happened again at the top. Sweaty Keg now takes over the P1 spot, and James Harmon down in P2. We are approaching pit stop time for a lot of these cars now. We'll be running on low tanks, and now it's just to see who's done the best job at fuel saving in stint 1. The Dead Bull has escaped then, so Sweaty Keg started to pull a little bit of a gap to James Harmon. I want to guess that James picked up a penalty somewhere, and obviously in course of serving it, probably lost about a year's worth of time. Well, that's dropped him out of the slipstream of the Dead Bull. Maybe looking to pit now. Yes, he pits now. Kevin Magnussen in the way this time, so these two boys pitting. Is Mental Nav going to carry on? We're on lap 10 now. This is when most guys are going to look to come in. Mental Nav does carry on. Myself, sorry, Mental Nav does pit, I carry on. I got a little bit of a penalty myself, so I'll be getting rid of that this time around. But tyres felt good. Still doing mid 48s, so I'm alright with pace. And I was just aiming to stretch my fuel until the end of at least lap 11, really. So on fumes right now, but I've got my medium stint to come. Sweaty Keg comes out the pits then, quite clear of James Harmon. Both lads accounting for the cold tyres quite nicely. Mental Nav, he's out of the pits now. He of course now though is on softs. So Mental Nav will be on a charge now. He'll be absolutely flying down. Oh, nice little battle going on here between, we have 3 different manufacturers involved in this one. TC Idle up to P5, he's fighting off against Ice Chan and Marshall. Lots of brake smoke there coming off. Chan's going to try and hang it around the outside, does have to concede the position to TC Idle, who smacks a barrier, but still gets that position done. So the Peugeot coming out victorious at this time. Ice Chan though, he's going to try and have a go back at him, looking at all the daft aero flaps on that McLaren. He's going to make that move happen, is he? Down into Delarocha, no. Oh, a little bit of contact there. I think TC had last take to the escape road. And Chan's, let's just have a little bit of a look at that. So Chan is a little bit, yeah, Chan goes deep into the corner. TC has to take to the escape road. Of course, everyone sort of resumes as they were, I guess. No time is necessarily lost by any of them. So good driving in fairness to all these guys. They've got good awareness of each other. This is shaping up to be the battle of the race, I think, between these guys. We've got Surfer Ev, who looks to have pitted, actually, looking at his times in the background. And as you can see me, I'm in the pits now, so let's just have a quick go back. Picked up another penalty on my way around, so in efforts to save time I've obviously cut a corner somewhere. So in I come. I've got 4% fuel left, so I'm going to be coming in and getting some fresh boots on. I am now going on to the medium tyres. So now onto the less grippy compound. We've got Sweaty Keg and James Harmon making their way through into P1 and P2 respectively. So I was leading the race for a lap, so at least I've achieved something out of this race. I come out of the pits P3, NextLevel P4. NextLevel put a lot more fuel in than I did, so I only fueled for a certain amount of laps, and I want to say NextLevel put a full tank in. So that will of course mean he was stationary in his pit box for a lot longer than I was, so he's got some work to do in the middle stint. You can see I've burned most of my penalty away already. I'll be getting rid of the rest of it throughout this lap. So most pit stops I've had, I think I was the last one to stop. So after the round of pit stops, let's have a little bit of a recap. So we've got a Sweaty Keg leading the way in the Dead Bull Aston Martin P1, but he's been fiercely chased down by James Harmon in the number 27 Cheese Whiz Chevrolet Corvette, so he's hot on his heels now. And you got myself P3 in the War Motorsport Nissan. Of course, a car that will go backwards now during this stint. Now I'm on the medium tyre. NextLevel in the Toyota, he is on a charge now on the soft tyres. He will really start to fly. You'll see the lap times potentially dip into the 46s for him as he really puts the hammer down. TC Idle in the Peugeot, P5 for him now. He's starting to break away a little bit from Marshall, who was running P6 in the Aeon Flux Subaru. Nice Chan then, P7 in the Lemon and Lime McLaren, followed up a little bit further back by SimFx. This is quite close up between these guys. Let's see if Chan goes for a move down into Ascari. He does. Marshall, I think, backs out of that and then goes right back on the attack. Marshall then. So you can see the Subaru there is going for the slipstream, so probably a very cute move there from Marshall. He let the McLaren go, knowing that he can just get some prime suck off the McLaren down the back straight, but the McLaren goes deep into Parabolica and manages to keep that spot for the time being. Like I said, we've got Surfer Ev in the Lime version of the car, P8 for Surfer Ev, and Infinity Decals in the Thrustmaster Aston Martin, P9 at this minute in time. So Chan then in the Lemon McLaren 650S GT3. I'm just trying to escape a little bit from Marsh. He's got TC Idle not too far ahead of him, both running similar sort of lap times. Some of these guys might be approaching another pit stop. Chan just gets the exit just a little bit wrong, and unfortunately he's out and into the wall. Marshall's great reactions to get out of the way. Surfer Ev's going to be pretty close behind Surfer Ev. Actually, it is Infinity Decals. So this could well hot up into the next couple of laps. The Aston Martin is a better straight line car than the McLaren. The McLaren will just be able to edge him in sector 2 a little bit. But I would definitely imagine the Aston Martin will pull right up to the back of that McLaren. Chan has resumed into P7 and just behind Marshall. They'll have lost a lot of time but no positions at this time. So Robinson for the time being negotiating Ascari nicely then onto the back straight past all the adoring Tifosi who wouldn't be supporting a British driver in a British car. No way Jose. TC Idle pits from P6 then. So depending on how much fuel TC Idle puts in, he might come out actually right with these guys. This might be worth watching. So Surfer just come out to the start finish straight now. TC's still in his pit box. He should be getting released. Yeah, he's released now. So TC Idle coming out of his pit box. He will meet them at turn 1, I think. So Infinity Decals pulls for the overtake, pulls back into the slipstream then. TC Idle's just not got enough temperature in his tyres yet. Again, all drivers negotiating that nicely, and Infinity Decals off the bottom into P8, but does need to make a pit stop yet. TC Idle down at the bottom of the pack so far, but will have pit stop advantage over a lot of these cars when they do have to come in again. Marshall leading this second. There's almost 2 races going on here, so there's a race for the lead. There's 3 races, actually. Race for the lead, there's race for P3, which NextLevel is winning by canter since he got past me a lap ago. And now he's on the soft tyres, and the race for P5, which Marshall is winning in a minute. I'm actually going to go on record at this point and say I'm partly responsible for Nev's 46.9. Didn't give him any hassle when he overtook me. There you go. No, he's an astonishing driver, is Nev. Once he got them soft tyres on that Supra, there was no stopping him. Some great laps coming in from him. I'm on the mediums in full fuel save mode, doing mid 49s. It's just embarrassing. I think a lot of these guys running similar sort of things at the minute, so a long way to go in this race yet. We're half an hour in. We've got another 20 minutes of racing remaining. Sweaty Keg is beginning to pull a bit of a gap now to James Harben. He's picked up another little penalty there, so he's got to try and serve that within 2 laps. As long as you serve it within 2 laps, all is good in the hood. So James will pick a spot to get that served. Mental Nev, after getting past me, is just pulling away now. You can see just how much more comfortable the Supra is on the curbs, getting the power down out of low speed corners. It's a lot more comprehensive getting that job done than the Nissan was. Although the Nissan's not bad in a straight line, it doesn't really like the twisties, so getting that power down is a bit of a pig. I was just commenting, Marshall P5 Chand, Surfer Rev, TC Idol, who's got back past Infinity Decals now, so his battle for P7's hotting up quite a lot. Surfer Rev currently winning that, quite a few seconds back from his teammate Chand, who is up in P6 at the minute. It's a good race hotting up then between Surfer Rev and TC Idol. Lap 17 of the race. Surfer Rev just gets a little bit sideways during a Scari. That's going to give TC Idol the run. Very low seating position in this Peugeot. It's very nice inside. He's going to get a good run on the McLaren, who doesn't go defensive. The McLaren's essentially letting him go here, potentially for the slipstream down the main straight. So the Peugeot was going to be ahead down the main straight. I was just going to say Surfer Rev will tuck in and get the suck, but he's gone alongside. Actually, he got a really good exit out of Parabolica. These guys got to go side by side into turn 1 almost, with Infinity Decals not too far behind him. As you can see there, Surfer Rev just about ahead as we go into the braking zone. Surfer Rev might just get that done unless Down can get the cut back out of the exit of turn 2. No such thing is going to happen today, but this battle here at the minute for P6 getting really hot and heated then, so some really good racing on show from these guys. Of course they are battling for championship points. TC Idol then goes for the move, backs out of it quite sensibly somewhat. He's going to live to fight another day, but he's going to go back for a move into the Lesmo. He's actually got a car in, he's got his nose in there, so that means Surfer Rev has to give him the room, compromise his exit himself. That's just letting Infinity Decals catch up though, so Infinity Decals now right in the mix with this. He's just done his fastest lap of the race of 48.2. So the Toro Moto is actually now starting to come alive on those soft tyres. And Marshall, I want to say Marshall just pitted, so not maybe a true reflection of where he's actually at. So as you can see, Surfer Rev then having to go defensive. Again, that McLaren trying to get a bit of a swapper on through a Scari. Your weight balance through that corner is all over the shop. And in your mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars, all your weight's in the back, so all the car wants to do really is turn around on you. Us in the FRs, what we call them, where the engine's at the front, have got all that weight on the front axle helping us out. So the Aston Martins, the Chevrolets and the Nissans, and of course the Toyotas, always do quite well in those sort of circumstances. So at the minute, again, Surfer Rev, TC Idol and Infinity Decals are going to be having this battle on here for who's going to get the honours into turn 1. It's going to be 3 cars wide, I think. Infinity Decals actually launches an astonishing move up the inside, but ends up backing out of it and just letting TC Idol run his course. Again, good racing from all these guys. Have a look back at that from Infinity Decals' perspective. So he's getting the slipstream on one of these cars. Don't forget, both these cars here are punching the hole in the air. TC Idol, I think, dips into that slipstream just a bit too late. That's going to give Infinity Decals a run up the inside. Infinity Decals on the brakes nice and early, and I think, yeah, just backs out of it. Doesn't want to cause an accident, so backs out of the move. But good driving from these guys, and again, Surfer Rev just keeping his nerve for P5 then. I'm a little bit further up the road, P4 myself. My race now is just a little bit boring. I think I'm pitting soon, to be fair, to get rid of the mediums, go on softs for a little bit. Mental Nev, 46.7 now for him, so he's rocking on there. Just chumps a little bit more of his time off, so he's trying to catch up to James Harben in the Cheese Whiz Chevrolet, who comes into the pits then with 8% fuel. Mental Nev's going to come in with 3%, so in theory James Harben now, he can go on the soft tyres, won't have to spend as long stationary as Mental Nev with. I come in with 4% fuel, so again, the gaps should be about the same between us all when we do come out. Sweaty Keg's going to carry on for another lap. The undercut at Monza is actually quite powerful, so hopefully Sweaty Keg doesn't get caught up in that, but he built up a decent enough gap. So James Harben then P2 now. I say P2 now, he's always been in P2 really. You've got to be careful with these cold tyres, gets the turn in done nicely. Mental Nev does the same sort of thing. So this is a sprint finish for these guys, 15 minutes to settle this. Who's going to get a second step on the podium? We are yet to find out. Third step on the podium though, I've got to be honest, I'm probably just outside the window of that unless one of the guys up front has a massive accident. I was probably, I think it was about 4 seconds behind at this point, so just kind of out of slipstream range. TC Idle now up into P5 after a couple of guys pit. So again, a lot of these guys have yet to commit to their final stint. Most of them have. I think Ice Chan now is pitted, Infinity Decals is back out, and Surf Rev is out as well, just in front of him. So we'll see how this battle closes up, because anything really could happen in this one. We've still got some cars yet to pit. Only having 9 cars on track as well did result in a little bit of a bore fest at times, but hopefully this has kept you entertained. There has been some interesting stories along with it as well, different strategies from people being able to use the slipstream and those that haven't. So Sweaty Keg now pits from the lead. He should keep that spot, looking at how far James Harben's back. So I should imagine Sweaty Keg now won't have to put too much fuel in that Aston Martin, will resume in the lead. In fact, he's released from his box and is now out on track again. So he will be down into T1 and away. I believe Flag's out on track then for just a second. We got a notification for it, but not really sure why that was. So last lap then for Mental Nev was about 6 tenths quicker than it was for James. Myself 48.7 last time round, so I'm starting to get some temperature in these tyres, and I should start bringing those times down again. TC Idle pits, 42% fuel for TC Idle. He shouldn't need to spend too long in his box. Let's see how this all unfolds. So closing in on the finish line of the race at Monza then. 26 laps have passed us so far, and Sweaty Keg is still leading the way. Quite a decent gap actually over Mental Nev and James Harben at this point. These two are having a right good old battle for this P2 spot. So as we're now closing in, the guys can be confident of how many laps they've got remaining, and so know how much they can push their fuel. So probably a little bit more revs involved in this. You may see some better lap times being set because we can rev the cars out a bit more if we've put enough fuel in. But for the time being, Mental Nev has got a bit of a challenge on his hands in keeping that Chevrolet at bay. James Harben then really amping up the pressure on the Toyota driver. The number 27 car is looking feisty today. Meanwhile myself, a bit of a boring race for me, to be really honest. Not really had much going on other than just trying to keep myself awake. Didn't really have the pace of the cars in front, didn't have all week to be fair during the practice sessions. I was chomping mid 47s at absolute best. So I know in race trim you can take a second off that really, and that's your race pace. So yeah, I don't know, just didn't click with the Nissan this time round. Not really sure what happened. We'll have to go and do a bit of a deep dive into that and figure out what's what. TC Idle then. He's on, he is 26 laps. He's probably going to be his last lap the next time round for TC Idle. Nice little battle then between Marshall and Chand for P6. Does Chand actually go for a move? No, he backs out of it last minute. He's going to go for the slingshot on the main straight instead. And then there's a battle for British supremacy between Infinity Decals in the Toro Moto Aston Martin and the Lemon and Lime McLaren of Surfer Ev. So these two will duke it out for not last honours. Sweaty Keg then, he's coming around, he's going to get another lap in. So we've got a minute of the race remaining. So anyone that crosses the finish line within the next minute will do another lap. So Sweaty Keg's going to do that, so is Mental Nev, so is James Harmon. So these guys' fight will go on for another lap yet. And I'll make it across as well in time to do a 28th and final lap. TC Idol is going to be the first person to finish the race though in the Peugeot. That doesn't mean you've won, TC, I'm afraid. As long as he doesn't have a massive accident in the last bit of the race. Good battle actually kicking off between Chand and Marshall then. This is their last lap. They have to settle this in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners. So not much opportunity then for Marshall to get a move made. He's got to get a shimmy on. The Subaru going down towards Ascari. He's probably got its best chance. Probably about here, to be fair. He's got to have a good Ascari to guarantee a close slingshot towards the last corner. He's taking a lot of Ascari there. Taking a lot of the exit. Him and Chand actually run a lot of the exit there. Let's just focus in on TC Idol, then we'll go back to the top 4. And we'll see how that move, let's see if Marshall and Chand manage to settle it. So TC Idol, first person to finish the race. P5 for TC Idol, he won't be too disappointed with that. He'd have probably took that before. The Lemon version of the Lemon and Lime team finishes P6. Marshall with a lovely handbrake across the line, P7. Infinity Decals just gets the back of Surfer Ev right at the end, P8 for Infinity Decals, and Surfer Ev P9. Moving back to the top, Sweaty Keg, sorry, winning by miles. Let's keep a check on these two. So Ascari is done for the last time. Then James Harmon's got one more chance to get past the Super Mental Nev. James will be ruining those penalties he picked up mid-stint. As he goes for a move, backs out of it, he's gonna go for the exit instead. Can James Harmon get this done? Meanwhile, Sweaty Keg does cross the line P1. Gives me a nice little sideways glance as well. We will just go back and watch this. Mental Nev's just about going to do it. Right, let's go and give Sweaty Keg the credit he deserves. Come on, Parabolica for the last time in the Dead Bull to pick up maximum points from this weekend's racing. Sweaty Keg with a sweaty result, P1 for him. Lovely handbrake turn as well, well executed, 10 out of 10. Mental Nev's going to do no such thing as he crosses the finish line to get second step of the podium. Good points for Mental Nev this time, and James Harmon another podium for that Chevrolet. And then myself in the Nissan, P4. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't too impressed with the Nissan this time round, but it just about got me there. Pathetic handbrake turn. So considering only 9 cars finished that race, it was actually a pretty good race, to be fair, for a lot of cars. There was a lot of good battling going on throughout the field. On your screen is just the current championship standings after Monza. So as you can see, Mental Nev and Sweaty Keg, point between them for the tops. Really close in their little battle. Then you've got a little battle forming for third. There's TC Idol, myself and James Harmon. Sort of James's GT3 results are really astonishing at the minute. It's pulling him back into it. TC Idol's the opposite. His GT4's getting him in, and I'm just blagging it somehow. Don't know how I'm managing it. And you got Marshall and Subaru. Good results for Marshall, actually holding P6 in the championship at the minute. Infinity Decals getting used to the wheel. He's coming on as well. Surfer Ev, Sayrexic, Rowdy Burns, Sea Trickle, Ice Chan, Tricky Tree, Ibun, and Jihad bring up the remainder of it. So back in the GT4 machinery next time round, we go to Kyoto. So that'll be the next video up on the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Also give some Infinity Decals some love. They put a lot of effort into this, and SimFx do as well. So there's a lot of time goes into this in the background. Go and show them some love. Links are in the description below. That's it from me. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, take it easy. Hope everything goes well. Cheers. Bye bye.